Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 14. Yep, episode 14 of the Godzilla Roundtable. As always, I'm your host, Mulder, otherwise known as Faye. And as always, I am joined by.
Ton here once again.
And Crash here.
And today we'll be discussing Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974, because this is the second to last Showa film. We're almost done.
Dun dun dun.
End of an era.
Yeah, we're almost done with the Showa era. Woohoo! Okay. So I guess we should get into rating and Crash.
Mhm.
Since you were really excited for this one, I'll let you start off.
Okay. I probably would give it a 7 out of 10. I think
Mm-hmm.
personally, I for
Mm-hmm.
me, I loved everything about Mechagodzilla himself, but I felt
Mm-hmm.
kind of parts of the middle got kind of slow personally. But we'll get more into
Mm-hmm.
that as we see. But that's my rating.
Yeah. All right, Ton. What would you give Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla?
Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla gets a 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's a really fun
Mm-hmm.
one. It's a solid entry. I definitely liked it a lot.
And balance is restored after last time because I'm giving this an 8 out of 10 as well. It's a really fun one. I really enjoy it personally. I think it's one of Jun Fukuda's best, which is a good lead into the front of the episode. So once again, Jun Fukuda's back. This would be his final Godzilla film. So, and what a send off it is! I think it's a really appropriate send off because I think it kind of encapsulates Jun Fukuda's style of Godzilla movies, with
Mm-hmm.
like a really fun cast, a kind of lighthearted tone, a very jazzy soundtrack,
Oh yeah.
and some really interesting and unique monster ideas, which I think is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie was also the 20th anniversary film for Godzilla.
It's you can really tell it's kind of a anniversary tribute film because it kind of has all those classic elements. It's
Yeah.
kind of a
Hmm.
return to form to the older Astro Monster Ebirah style.
Yeah. It also was an anniversary film. I forget how many years, but for Okinawa becoming part of Japan, which is interesting, and that's why there's such a big focus on Okinawa in this film, which I find really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what did you guys think of Jun Fukuda's final outing as director?
You want to go, Crash?
Yeah, sure. Um, I mean, it fit very well. Super consistent. It was exciting. And it's kind of become like what I think of when I think of like a Godzilla movie, just his kind of style. And I think it was a
Hmm.
really proper send off for sure. It's gonna be weird, like seeing how the future ones just feel different overall with a new director at the helm.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna see a big change after the next one, Crash, because the next one is the end of an era, so you'll definitely see
Yeah.
it. Ton, what did you think of this being Jun Fukuda's final outing?
This is definitely a big return to form for Fukuda after Megalon. Um, uh, and even Son of Godzilla, this is definitely more his versus Gigan or his Ebirah style. Um,
Hmm.
and it's really good. Like, it's weird to say this now about Mechagodzilla, as
Hmm.
Crash will see as we go with this franchise. But he always kept his ideas fresh and unique for the
Hmm.
franchise. So it's really cool to see such an iconic element like Mechagodzilla be one of his ideas.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I guess to continue on that idea front, it also always really finds me remember that Mechagodzilla exists because of, as Ton definitely knows, as the mecha expert here, mecha was booming in the 70s, and so it was like, we need a fucking mecha in Godzilla.
Hmm.
So honestly, Ton, how do you say Mechagodzilla stacks up against like the mecha of the 70s? Because this is pre-Gundam, so we still have a lot of that Super Robo stuff.
Yeah, so this is definitely in the style of like the old Super Robot animes, like I want to make sure I don't talk out my butt here, but like Gigantor or Get a Robot,
Mazinger,
Mazinger.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
all those real classics. So, there's kind of a lot of different gimmicks going on at the time. I think by like the 70s, the big thing was combining robots. So
Hmm.
Mechagodzilla is pretty distinct because he's not a combining robot, but he is like a giant robot dinosaur. But he has all those powers that you see in like the
Hmm.
anime, all the giant weapons, just glittering armor, and just a very like boxy, futuristic look. Well, like for the
Hmm.
'70s, which was futuristic.
Yeah.
Um, Overall, he unlike say Jet Jaguar and Ultraman, who felt very
Hmm.
derivative, Mechagodzilla feels really like fresh for this era of Mecha.
Yeah. I definitely agree, especially because he's also an evil mech,
Hmm.
which was not common back then. Because from what I remember, wouldn't Super Robo tend to use like almost like kaiju style enemies rather than other mechas?
Yeah, in the old days, well, it kind of depends because there would be a lot of like giant monsters and stuff, but there also like get a robo, the enemies would be dinosaur robots.
Oh,
So
fitting for this.
yeah, so Mechagodzilla wouldn't be out of place in a mecha anime.
That's interesting. All right, Crash. Because we're on the topic, what did you think of Mechagodzilla? Because I know you've been
Oh, of
excited for him for a long
Mechagodzilla
time.
himself. I
Yeah.
love Mechagodzillas. As you all know, I'm a big sucker for evil versions of characters. Just kind of like, even if they're like
Yeah.
super similar, I don't know why. I just like the concept a lot, and so Mechagodzilla 100% just scratches that itch for me. Yeah, I was so giddy
Mm.
just seeing him in Godzilla fight. It was so exciting, and he does it really well. He's such a threat. He's just like Godzilla, but he's got missiles everywhere. And I just loved everything about him. I loved his design. His,
Mm.
all his missiles. He's like Gigan times two. Like he's got all these fucking weapons
Yeah.
everywhere. Just a complete killing
Yeah.
machine. And I do like how like in the movie they're like, oh yeah, we analyzed what the most powerful creature like on Earth is, and it was Godzilla. So we're gonna do that, but even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so cool. I love Mechagodzilla.
It he also makes Godzilla bleed again, which
Yeah.
for me makes any opponent stand out if you can make Godzilla bleed, especially how much blood Mechagodzilla makes
I
Godzilla
know.
do. Like just I love the bit when all of his fucking missiles just like stick inside of Godzilla like
Yeah.
a fucking porcupine.
Hmm.
Also, because we talk about how beams weren't super common, Mechagodzilla has not just one but two beams because he has his eye lasers and he has the lightning bolts saying from his chest.
Mechagodzilla's just a walking army in itself.
Hmm. Not to mention the fact that he can turn his head around so he can fire on
That
two
part was like,
fronts.
Hmm.
damn. It was Godzilla and who's yeah.
King Caesar.
Oh
King
yeah, I
Caesar.
forgot. Yeah, yeah, they were both coming. I was like, yeah, don't worry, I got this. Just fucking shoots from both sides and takes them both out. That was cool.
It honestly is. I really like Mechagodzilla. This is my favorite incarnation of Mechagodzilla. I don't want to say too much about the ones that come after, just so I don't like taint your experience, Crash. But in my opinion, this and the next movie are like the peak of Mechagodzilla for me personally. And he just has this really classic retro '70s feel. It helps that his theme is fucking awesome as well with the jazz music. It
Hmm.
just fits him.
Very funky.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Which I guess is a good lead-in because you mentioned King Caesar. But I guess first I'll start off with how did you guys feel about the Okinawa element in this film?
That was the native people.
Yeah, the
Oh,
island, the island setting.
I mentioned this when we were watching it, but it reminded me a lot of Gojira. You know, because the movie that starts off,
Hmm.
the natives are like talking about Godzilla as like a legend, and that's kind of what they reminded me of.
Yeah.
They were like talking about King Caesar, as well as like
Hmm.
kind of predicting the future, sort of. That was very
Yeah.
interesting. That's what made me feel like okay, this is kind of like an anniversary movie because it kind of combines a bunch of elements from like Godzilla's past,
Yeah.
just to make it feel like familiar, but also new.
Hmm. Hmm. Ton, do you have any thoughts on Okinawa in this film?
Yeah. Okinawa as a setting is used really well here. There's a kind of a nice showcase of Okinawan culture as
Hmm.
kind of distinct when you have the kind of the it starts off with like the locals having a showcase of their culture, and it
Hmm.
just kind of comes up throughout the movie. I agree with Crash. It has that very Gojira feel, where it feels very respectful.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not too familiar with Okinawa culture, so I can't really speak to the
Hmm.
accuracy. So
Hmm.
I'm sure someone out there would know better. But it's definitely nice to see kind of the tribute to Okinawa as a part of Japan.
Hmm. Something I find kind of interesting to me is this theme almost of Okinawa being invaded because it was brought into Japan kind of forcibly, if you know history. Like I'm sure Ton, you know
Hmm.
that Okinawa was basically captured
Hmm.
and not like always part of Japan. So it's interesting to see that brought up, like in the scene where the older elder is like, Godzilla, bring vengeance upon the mainlanders. I think it was interesting that they addressed that rather
Hmm.
than gloss it over,
Yeah,
which I guess makes it kind of interesting to have in a way, icon of Japan and Godzilla teaming up with an icon of Okinawa and King Caesar
Hmm.
against a bigger foe.
That's true. I was not really aware of that part. That makes it kind of adds a new layer to like just the feeling of the
Yeah,
movie. Hmm.
yeah. Even if this movie, I feel like, is not the most thematically deep, I think it has a few interesting things to analyze there.
Yeah.
yeah. I, and with that
Hmm.
invasion element, I also wonder if maybe it would be kind of a reference to. So, quick history tidbit. Um, World War II, America versus Japan, Okinawa, big island close to Japan. U.S. military invaded Okinawa so they could bomb Japan and stay there after the war. So there's a big U.S. military presence on Okinawa to this day, and it's kind
Yeah,
of really controversial with the locals because U.S. soldiers aren't the most well behaved overseas, we'll say
yeah.
politely. But yeah, so I kind of wonder if that element also was kind of a reference to those feelings.
See, I had that thought too of it almost being, if you squinted a bit, if Mechagodzilla kind of represented America in a sense. That's an interesting thought.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure how far you could go with it, but it's
Yeah,
definitely interesting. And Mechagodzilla also, in terms of the film, has that element of taking responsibility for your own creation, coming back from Gojira, like how the older scientist who got kidnapped and forced to fix Mechagodzilla went back with the oh shoot, what's the name? Oh yeah, with Interpol and the main character's younger brother to take down the base for the black hole aliens.
Oh yeah. It's a whole bunch of stuff there.
Yeah.
The black hole aliens, the Interpol agents, the
There's so much
seafaring
stuff in this
adventure.
movie. But anyway, I guess I should go back to King Caesar because I've got on this first topic. Crash, what did you think of King Caesar?
Stupid. It was really weird because they hyped him up a lot. I mean, the whole thing was like, trying to get the idol,
Mhm.
figure out what it's about, and then, it's Mechagodzilla's on the prowl, about to fuck him up. They're like, quick, sing an entire song, kind of like Mothra, but this song was really long, and
Mhm.
then he busts out. And then he just kind of he gets his ass kicked once, and then he goes into hiding until Godzilla shows up. He's like, "Oh shit, now I can help out." Then he gets beat up again. I don't know. He had his heart in the right place, but he wasn't very good at his job.
Ton, what did you think of King Caesar?
King Caesar. He's interesting. Um, I don't want to sound negative because he's a really cool idea. I always like mythological kaiju, and
Same.
he's based off a cultural statue on of a lion on Okinawa known as Shisa, correct?
Yeah, yeah, she says.
Shisas, and it's kind of cool to see that translate into a kaiju. I guess my only big issue with King Caesar is his design looks kind of funky to me. Although he
Hmm.
looks like a weird monkey dog, but uh, he's cool. Helps out Godzilla. He's a nice buddy. It's kind of cool to have like another Mothra type kaiju,
Hmm.
being like the local deity figure to the people.
Yeah,
That is
So
cool. I do like that idea. I just wish
yeah.
he did more. I guess.
Yeah,
See, for me with King Caesar, I have a big soft spot for him because there's not a lot of mammalian kaiju, I feel like.
It's
Like,
true.
besides for King Kong, I don't think there's that many. Honestly, think about it, I can only think of King Kong, King Caesar, and then Behemoth from King of the Monsters. Those are only three that come to my mind instantly.
Yeah, I wonder why
I'm sure
it's
there's,
always like
yeah,
bigger mammal.
yeah. It's usually insects or dinosaurs or reptiles you get. Which I don't mind because I love all three of those, but it's like, come on, we can have some mammals too.
yeah,
Mammals are cool. So it is cool to me to have a lion-like kaiju come in. And okay, I know that King Caesar kind of drops at this, but I do think the fact that he can reflect beams back with his eyes is really cool.
Oh, for
hmm
sure. I like his design a lot.
Yeah, and his design I also really dig. I like them using a mythological creature as basis because we haven't really gotten a lot of that either in Godzilla up to this point, besides for Manda and King Ghidorah.
Hmm.
So it is neat to see that. I do agree though that for whatever reason, after he starts off pretty cool by reflecting Mechagodzilla's lasers back at him, he doesn't really do much until the end. I'm not sure what happened there, but it happens, I guess.
I guess they
yeah,
wanted to demonstrate how powerful Mechagodzilla is, but like they could do that
Yeah,
without making him like hide behind a rock.
yeah. Which I guess was a good lead into what did you guys think of the human cast of this film? If Ton would want to start.
sure. The human cast is really good here. They definitely have a lot more fleshed out. And, we have a female main character again after that was missing Megalon, so it was nice to have
Yes.
back. It's very for, well for Showa. Like alien plots are nothing new, but the way it
Hmm.
did the alien invasion here is really just a lot more fun. And
Yeah.
I found it more in depth than say um,
Destroy a monster.
Megalon. Oh yeah, and destroy all monsters. And also, I like the fake out with the Interpol agents. Like you think
Same.
they're part of the alien conspiracy, but no, they're just cheeky secret agents.
That's true. That it,
Crash. Crash, what did you think of the human cast? Sorry. Go on.
yeah, I don't remember their names, but they were very interesting. I did like just the whole thing with them was a lot more engaging. I like the whole, seafaring kind of adventure, not mystery exactly, but like trying to figure things out. And like
Yeah.
Ton was saying, the sus Interpol agents, which we weren't really sure whether they were on our side or not until when he reveals that he's a part of Interpol. I liked him though; it
Hmm.
was cool, and they're you have a good human plot when you care about it, and you're not just like come back to the monsters. And that's how I felt about this.
Yeah.
I thought what was going on there was super interesting, and it tied really well into
Hmm.
the monsters with them trying to kind of bring
Yeah.
King Caesar back.
Yeah, that's my thing. I really enjoy this cast. I don't think they're as fun as Gigans, personally.
Yeah.
Even if I think the movie overall is better. But I do like them. Especially, I really like the main archaeologist female character because I think that's really fresh for Godzilla. Because we haven't had a female scientist before in these films, from what I can remember at least.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is the first.
Because I know Honda would have female scientists in his other stuff, but not in Godzilla itself. So it's interesting. I really like the bit where they play on like the trope pretty much of their female characters being journalists all the time, because like the main male character's like no journalists allowed, and she's like I'm not a journalist.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was pretty funny.
So I enjoy little stuff like that. And then with the black hole aliens, I think they're really fun personally. Like I like them being more secretive about it compared to like the Space Hunter M aliens or the Zillions who are really like open about what they're doing. Like they're more secretive, like they have Mechagodzilla pose as Godzilla. So that's fun. Also the fact that they're inspired by Planet of the Apes is just really fun to me.
Yeah,
It's because they're monkey.
Monkey.
they
Yeah.
are. They
Well,
are monkeys.
can never trust a fucking alien in this series. But yeah, the fact they're monkeys was really funny to me.
And they'd be the final new alien to come into the franchise for a while
Wow,
actually.
monkey.
So I'd enjoy them
Begin with monkey,
in
end with
in,
monkey.
in this in this duo Crash.
Wow. Huh.
because you're not gonna get something like this for a
It
while.
was fun while it lasted.
Uh, and Interpol, I feel like they add a really fun element. Personally, I really like them doing the fake out, and it's typical for Fukuda because Fukuda loved doing spy stuff in his Godzilla films,
Yeah, Jeff has
especially.
definitely has a lot of
Go
fun
on.
with it here.
And I really also I appreciate the fights here, not the monster fights, but the human fights here being a lot better than last time.
Yeah, they're a lot more like visceral.
Yeah, and intense, which I appreciated compared to last time where we had the fucking kid throwing a plane in a guy's face.
I know, right?
It was powerful.
So I did, or when Karl Marx got thrown out of the truck. So I appreciate having something a bit more, not serious, but at least a bit more like entertaining to watch
Yeah,
with the human fights. So I appreciated that.
it was really cool. The Interpol. What was I gonna say? I didn't know
Mm.
Interpol was a real thing until you told me. Just because like international police, like I was like, gosh, that's like fiction shit. There's no free border fucking police people that protect people. I was like, oh damn, no, it was an actual thing. I didn't know that. So thank you for telling me.
Yeah, you were like, oh, Interpol need. I was like, wait, Crash, they're real, by the way.
That was my
When and
fun fact of the day.
mhm. I guess it also kind of shows kind of a fun bit of continuity behind. I guess in a subtle way, by the fact that now the world governments have like send the fucking international police after suspected aliens.
I mean, yeah, by this point, I mean, yeah, assuming aliens is a fucking asshole. They've all tried to fuck up the Earth. Just me.
I mean, at this point, Earth has had, at this point,
Four?
continuity wise, um, uh, if we just count like humanoid aliens, two, maybe three, if you would count the Utopians as aliens. But if we count like monsters two, there's been five different occasions, and just Godzilla alone.
I mean, at some point they've all taken like a human form. I guess.
Besides Adoring, but there's
Oh yeah.
also
No, I meant
Ghidorah
like more like I
and
meant
King
more like
Ghidorah.
organized groups. The Zillions,
Oh yeah,
the Killax, the fucking Nebula, and motherfucker cockroach bitches.
but wait, Crash, you're making that same mistake you did when we were watching it. The Kilax are in 1999.
Oh
This is
fuck
still
yeah! I forgot. Actually,
1974.
that's the future. Fuck. I keep forgetting that. Yeah. Damn. Okay. So they
So,
will.
it's just really funny because you were wondering where Matra was, and I was like, remember Crash? How Matra in Destroy Monsters is
Yeah.
still a
By this point,
caterpillar.
she's still fucking like she's chilling in an egg right now. Has not hatched. I miss
Yeah,
Moth. I haven't seen him forever.
yeah. It actually has been a while for Matra no Dan,
Yeah.
because their last full appearance was in Destroy
Yeah.
Monsters, which was
Wow.
ages ago now, movie
Yeah.
wise.
Feels.
Yeah, 5
Um,
movies ago now.
Wow.
yeah. And let me see. Oh, also, this also would be this composer's final time doing a Godzilla film because oh shoot, what's his name? Let me look it up real quick.
Masaru Sato.
Okay, I was right. I was remembering. I want to make sure. Yeah, this would be Masaru Sato's final time doing a Godzilla film, and he had such an improvement from Godzilla Raids Again. I feel like over the
Oh, that was
course
him.
of the series.
Oh.
Yeah, that was his first Godzilla film composition wise.
Ew.
He definitely developed a really distinctive style that was very unique, but honestly, I liked it a lot.
Same.
The funky jazz,
Yeah.
out there music. It was just always enjoyable.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he has a really distinct style in this, I feel like. Also, speaking of continuity, I also really appreciate them having Godzilla be healed and empowered
By
by
lightning.
lightning because that's a nice callback to Ibra.
Wasn't it in
Where in Ibra he
King
was.
Kong 2
Mhm.
as well with the lightning?
Oh no, in King Kong he was hurt by it.
Wait. Oh yeah. Then what the fuck?
It was Ibra which changed it, and they stuck with the Ibra change.
As he developed the immunity at some point.
He was like, "Ouch, that hurt. I'm just not gonna get hurt by lightning again." And then he just stopped being hurt by lightning. That's true.
It's really funny because King Ghidorah having lightning gravity bolts was a fitting weakness for Godzilla because of his electricity weakness up until that point. But then you get the Ibra or because they had to switch Godzilla in for King Kong. He's empowered by lightning, and now lightning doesn't hurt him;
Oh
it
yeah,
strengthens
lightning
him.
helped King Kong, right? Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I just know lightning helped one big fucking monster. That was close, but yeah. And now it's like, haha, now I am powerful. And then he waits 30 minutes before coming back. But still, it's nice that he's feeling better.
hmm Oh yeah, Crash. Now that we had Godzilla in a bigger role in this film, did you feel like you could notice the difference by not having Haru Nakajima play him
um,
anymore?
I wish I paid more attention to that. I can't say that, but I will pay attention the next time we watch it. Well,
For
I
the
guess
final
I don't
film.
know if that counts because it was
hmm
Mechagodzilla. Was he playing him too for
hmm
that scene when he was
I
using the
feel like
fake
he
suit?
probably was. Yeah, but that might have been on purpose
Yeah,
because it was meant to be fake Godzilla. Which, by the way, I'm really glad that I got your neck with that.
yeah. That I gotta say it was really funny though. A fucking
hmm
Anguirus has just been in a pit this whole time since the beginning of Megalon for no reason. He's just been
Yeah.
stuck in there, just trying to get out. And then Godzilla wakes up, and I was like, "Oh shit, there he is." I was like, "I don't know, he's on the prowl or something, I guess." And he just starts fucking shit up. I'm like, wow, what an asshole! Why is he being a dick again? But then it turns out it's not really
hmm
Godzilla; it's
Which
Mechagodzilla.
Anguirus,
Yeah, then
which Anguirus
poor
knew.
Anguirus, he just gets out of his pit of hell, and he just gets fucking beat up by his best friend. Gets his jaw
Yeah,
broken.
Edgar
It's
has
really
an
fucked.
awful time.
I know. Then he never comes back either. I feel bad. He just runs away.
Yeah, this is Anguirus' final appearance in this
That's
era.
fucked. That's mean.
Poor guy had his jaw broken and
I
ran
know.
away.
But that does lead well to But yes, I was saying I don't know if the fake when it was
hmm
Mechagodzilla pretending to be Godzilla, he felt a lot more
Yeah.
aggressive in a way, the way he's beating up the
hmm
buildings
hmm
and shit. But like I said, that
Yeah.
may just be because he's a Mechagodzilla. But
Yeah.
that scene at the waterfront with
hmm
by the oil tanker, I think I forget. That
Yeah.
was a really great
Yeah.
scene. It looked beautiful. I love the flames lighting everything up, and then
Same.
Godzilla actually showing up. They're like, "Yo, what the fuck, two Godzillas?" And then they're fighting. And that was such a great scene. Probably one of the best scenes in this movie. I really liked it.
Mechagodzilla's intro is a really cool and dynamic scene, and like you said, I really like how the lighting plays into that.
Yeah, it
Also, this is the first ever time we have a beam clash in the franchise where two beams lock.
it was cool. They both get sent flying
Yeah,
back. But poor
And
Godzilla's rep was being fucked up. Like I said, people have come to be like, Godzilla's okay now. And then he comes back and just starts fucking everything up. It's like, God damn it, why are you doing this to me, man? I just built up my rep with this thing.
that is really funny to think about Godzilla. Like you're framing me.
Yeah, poor guy.
He really is. Ton. Did you have any favorite scenes? Because we kind of got onto that topic. I'm interested if you had any favorite moments.
Um, I'm with you guys with Godzilla versus Godzilla. And I also loved Mechagodzilla versus Anguirus because that scene is just so brutal.
I know.
I know, right?
Mechagodzilla just that's probably the most like gory fight we've had since Hedorah.
Yeah.
It was really pretty graphic.
And then all the fucking like blood spurting out of Anguirus' mouth.
I know. Only thing is, I felt that the blood looked kind of like clay, but it was really thick looking, but it was really brutal. Like
It was poor guy.
even with all the spikes on his back, don't protect you from nothing.
It's really funny, Crash, to see your growth with Anguirus.
Well, yeah, my first impression he was stupid fucking Ankylosaurus that got beat up and died. But then, I thank the filmmakers for giving him like a spotlight to grow. I'm really happy they did
Yeah.
more with him, and I like Anguirus now. I feel I can't. It's not. I don't want to say it's out of pity because every time he shows up, he's usually getting beat up or something. But I want him to have a good time. I want Anguirus to be given something nice for once. Poor guy. Hope next time he shows up,
I mean,
he's good.
I mean, he did have Godzilla versus Guy.
Yeah,
He got off
that
pretty
was
good
a
there.
pretty good time for him. I want more of that. Give Anguirus the spotlight. have him tag up with Godzilla again.
I want that so badly. But I guess I can say this because actually, no, what? No. I'm gonna save it. Never mind. I was gonna say something because you had seen this movie, but I'm gonna wait. I'll point out to you upon our rewatch of it.
Okay, I'm excited.
So yeah, this movie I feel like is a very fitting 20th anniversary film for a lot of stuff we talked about. I really liked Crash how I was able to trick you by going, see, look, it's his 20th anniversary. They're taking him back to his original roots
But that's what I was thinking.
with
I was
Big
like,
Godzilla.
yeah, he's like back to how he used to be. You know, an asshole, destroying everything, being a force of nature. Some things never change.
Psych.
And then yeah, I was like, nah, it's me, Mechagodzilla, with a skin suit. I don't know how they put that on. They're like, fuck, it's too much effort to put that back on. Just don't even bother. They just left him in his robot form
Yeah,
the whole time afterwards. I I
I
do
know,
wonder though,
right? It's really great.
were they doing that to
Hmm.
frame Godzilla like on purpose?
Yeah, yeah, to try to make it seem like they weren't around yet.
Wow, what an asshole. uh,
Because it's easier to use Godzilla going back to his old ways than to like reveal yourself, which is kind of why I like them. I feel like they're more like the Zillion style plotting
yeah, they're much more efficient.
than we've seen in a while.
Yeah, much more of a force to be reckoned with. You know, they're much more competent at their job. They're very serious, and
Yeah.
like you said, kind of low key. They keep themselves hidden,
Hmm.
and they're, I guess, very threatening. You know, they deciphered that Godzilla
Yeah.
was like the most powerful one. They're like, so we just got to get our own Godzilla, and they did. Didn't work out, but they almost had it.
Yeah.
They were nearly there. Oh yeah, a ton. I forget. Did we get your thoughts on the black hole aliens?
Uh, did I talk about?
I don't think so.
Oh damn. Well, I really like them. They're they're very. I think I did talk about them, but I'll give some different thoughts. Just I like their design a lot. When they
Hmm.
switch from their human form to their monkey mode.
Yeah,
It's very Planet of the Apes, like that was like the influence, but they have a really distinct look, and I like the sound design a lot. They have like
same.
kind of like this alien version of gorilla grunting, which was really neat.
Yeah, and in case anyone ever thinks that we're a well put together show, we're not. Just this kind of shows it. But yeah, though, I also something I noticed this time around was they have green skin, which I think is a neat touch to make them seem more alien than just like a gorilla.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I missed it.
Because when they go back to normal, they have green skin, which I think is neat.
That's,
It almost reminds me, ton, of a concept we have in one of our works,
oh yeah.
but I'll leave it at that. Um, what else is there? We're getting too efficient at this. We really just bang stuff out. But I guess I will say though, I really like the monster fights themselves in this movie. Something about them feels a lot more dynamic than last time. I feel like.
yeah. It's very exciting, and also I feel like Mechagodzilla's
Hmm.
flying effects are better than Jet Jaguars and shit,
And
and
Megalons.
Megalons. But yeah, I think maybe it has to do with just the pacing of it. Feels more natural, I guess,
Yeah,
and exciting.
yeah. The pacing is a lot better in this movie. Like I feel like it proceeds along nicely. I know you said you got bored in some bits, Crash, and I guess I could see that. I feel like the only part where the pacing gets a bit off for me is when they free on the main character's younger brother, the professor, and the professor's daughter at first, and then they go back. That makes it slow down a little bit, but I feel like overall it's really fastly paced, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, like just coming from Megalons, like just inherently better. but but yeah, I guess I just felt of some parts of the human stuff just kind of dragged on for me. The boat scene. I mean,
Hmm.
it was all for, purpose of figuring everything out with the statue.
Yeah.
But like beyond, like I said, everything with the monsters I really liked, and the fights were, like I said, super
Hmm.
exciting. The first Mechagodzilla fight was excellent,
Hmm.
really good, and even and even though King Caesar was not the most useful, the second rematch between Godzilla and
Hmm.
Mechagodzilla was also like really exciting. Just seeing Godzilla.
Oh, I guess that is.
Yeah, it's
To
like
go
just
on,
seeing
sorry.
Godzilla try to figure out how to approach this. This guy can kind of do
Yeah,
everything he does, but like with missiles, even
yeah.
more. It was fun seeing him like adapt to this new enemy of his.
Also, which I guess reminds me, what did you guys think of Godzilla's magnetism?
It was really dank. But Godzilla obtaining a new power and then losing at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
Godzilla getting weird powers that never show up again is just tradition at this
That's
point.
just
If
how
he's
it
not
is.
getting if he's not getting a weird power, you're not watching a show or movie.
It's destiny for him to lose it at the
the
end.
the magnetism is really funny to me, but I'm glad they at least kind of explained it by showing the lightning scene, because that's the implication that the lightning gave it
Yeah,
to Godzilla, which I
he was just like
appreciate. At
dead.
least they go out of their way to explain it.
And seeing Mechagodzilla try to like fly away.
It's the Godzilla like fuck, fuck, fuck.
It was really funny.
I always wonder how much sentience or sapience
I was gonna
Mechagodzilla
ask that
has,
actually.
because they call him a cyborg, but in this one they don't really elaborate on that. Like he just kind of, and they say his head got damaged. They have to fix his head. But I wonder, is it like a supercomputer running him or what? I can't really
Yeah, I was
tell.
gonna say because
Yeah,
like I wasn't sure if they were controlling him or not because they responded to him like they're watching the fight like oh no like do this. So I kind of get the sense that like
Yeah.
some of his stuff they were controlling, but like I don't think they got a
hmm
whole like VR suit like controlling Mecha Godzilla. So like I wonder if they if yeah Mecha has some own like like AI doing it for him or sentience fighting.
Yeah, I feel like he probably has a limited degree of sentience because they tell him to come back at some points, and but they also mention, like I said, that when his head got damaged in the first fight, they had to repair him first. So I guess he does have some kind of computer up in there.
True.
yeah, probably some kind of AI.
hmm And this is also very different from before. But something I also kind of noticed was I find interesting is I've noticed that Showa Godzilla films will set up romances but not make them into romances. It this just hit me now because I was thinking in this movie you have the main two the main male character and the archaeologist a female character. Then you have his younger brother and the professor's daughter, where they like set up like these kinds of like romances, but they don't really go through with them. And like even in like Gaigan, they had that with the manga creator and the girl whose brother is missing. Like they do that in that as well.
Oh
And I
yeah,
find that kind of funny. Like they set up these ships and then they don't do anything with them, and I'm not sure why.
yeah. I have to wonder if it was like censorship constraints or if it was just they didn't really know how to resolve those romantic arcs. So they're just like, whatever.
Or I wonder if it's because at this point Godzilla films were definitely for kids first. If they thought that kids wouldn't want to see romance,
Yeah, that would probably be it too.
especially because Japan has a very gendered view of their stories, and these were definitely intended for quote unquote boys. So they said they would be like, well, boys probably don't want to see romance, so don't just hint at it, but don't really elaborate too much on it. I feel like that probably played a part.
Yeah, I guess you could compare to other um entertainment like say anime. A lot of shonen
hmm
stories will give like the main character a girl who is pretty heavily implied to be the love interest, but then they don't actually go into that because it's like, oh, this is for boys. They don't want to see that crap. Feelings. Ugh.
Okay, gross.
and then they save it for like the final chapter. By the way, those two got married.
Yeah, it's funny.
So I do have to, and that's probably part of it. But it's just funny for me to notice that in Godzilla films of this era,
Yeah.
and then they kind of were doing that too because Ghidorah had the main detective and the princess who was possessed by the Venetian prophet. They had a bit of a love interest thing going on there too, but they didn't get together either. Which so I guess it's kind of been a Godzilla trademark at this point.
Yeah.
Which is just really funny. Okay. And it is kind of interesting to see the end of the Showa era because this does kind of feel like a culmination of all of Fukuda's stuff, like we were mentioning, like with Gigan and Ibra, and even Son of Godzilla Megalon. It feels like a nice endpoint for his work in the franchise, even if he would later go on and say he didn't like anything he made
Yeah, that's kind
that's
of
for
that's
Godzilla.
so
yeah.
weird. This is all stuff he's done like a lot of these in the era, right? So like,
Yeah,
did he
yeah,
hate all of it?
yeah. When he did an interview, he said he felt that Godzilla should not have gotten
But
sequels.
damn, but like so much of his stuff is classic,
I know,
man.
right?
I
Yeah,
really liked it. So like, wow,
Same.
I don't know why he feels that way.
yeah, it's kind of tragic for Kuda that his stuff got kind of. Well, I don't know what the reaction was in Japan, but it's become like such a centerpiece of the franchise. But he
Hmm.
himself doesn't really see it that way.
Or well, didn't because he's since passed
Oh
away
yeah,
Damn.
for a while. Unfortunately, because that was like one of his last interviews too. He was like, "Yeah, my stuff was shit. It was cheap. There was no budget. Godzilla should not have gotten a sequel." And it's like, man, I feel bad for him because he was treated like the B team, like we talked about in the Eber episode. So I get why he felt the way he did, but almost like how Alan Moore doesn't like some of his comics. Just because a creator feels a certain way about their stuff doesn't mean you have to agree. I feel like
yeah, yeah.
because I personally think Fukuda's stuff is really good.
I would
For the most part, anyways. Megalon isn't really his fault, I feel like. Megalon was just a mess of a film.
agree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like with a lot of creators, I don't know, they have a different perspective than
Hmm.
like everybody else that enjoys their like creation. It's weird. So like,
Yeah.
even if everyone loves it, you sometimes it might just be like, yeah, it was pretty awful. And it's just something you just can't really understand unless you're in their shoes, I guess.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Like, oftentimes, your perspective, like, it's basically like, to use a euphemism, you don't always want to know what's in the sausage or how the sausage was made. And I think you get that a lot with creators, where when where because you're the one making it, you can't always view it objectively in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like
If you were fighting with this, okay, go on.
oh yeah, it's kind of just like you're your own worst critic. It's like
Hmm.
someone makes a cake, see someone makes another cake, and they're like, "Oh, this is based off of comics, so credit to the artist." But someone makes a cake, and they're like, "Oh, this other person made such a bigger and nicer cake." But then someone sees the cake and is like, "Wow, two cakes."
Yeah, it's pretty much that. And I also feel like Fukuda probably, and this is maybe just me reading into it, I also think that coming after Shiro Honda is not an easy thing to do, especially with how well received that first Godzilla film ended up being in Gojira. That it's definitely tough, I feel like, to make your mark. Especially because Fukuda, I feel like got kind of, on a sense, almost blamed for making Godzilla more lighthearted, even though that was just the trend that Godzilla was starting on, I feel like, even back in King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like Fukuda got kind of blamed for it when that wasn't really him. It was just a natural course of action for the franchise at the time.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a scapegoat for like all the issues people have with that era, even if it's not like all on
Hmm.
him.
Yeah, and I do think it's unfair because I feel like, especially now when a lot of his films are being reevaluated, even
Yeah,
Megalon,
say like
that they didn't.
hindsight's like a
Oh, go
bitch,
on, sorry.
like yeah, just like you're saying,
Hmm.
even though at the time people didn't really appreciate, now especially a lot of people looking back for what they are and not, you know, what they didn't want it to be, and finding new
Yeah,
appreciation for it now. And
especially
no,
because.
no, no,
Oh,
no,
sorry,
that
go
was
on.
pretty understanding. I thought.
I was gonna say, especially now that we have so much more darker Godzilla stuff, I feel like now the lighthearted stuff stands out even more
Yeah,
as like fun stuff. So I really appreciate what Fukuda brought to the late '60s and '70s era of Godzilla.
Yeah, same.
and like I feel like you can't. like when you think of classic Godzilla, like you're probably gonna think of this guy's stuff. Fukuda, like old school
Yeah.
Godzilla, just because made him a big part
hmm
of it, and it's a lot of public conscious, like funny stuff with
Yeah,
classic Godzilla.
Fukuda's stuff is definitely as big a part as like Konda's stuff, I feel like. And definitely bigger in my opinion, at least in America, than what came after besides for like MonsterVerse and stuff. Even though now I feel like you're starting to see more nostalgia for like the 80s, 90s, and 2000s stuff as our gen and the gen before us get older.
Yeah,
But I think now, Crash, it's time to update your ranking.
of course you posted it. Thank you. Damn, let me take a look at this. I guess I would put it above King Kong, but before Hedorah.
Oh wow, you really like Hedorah.
Just like it's just in hindsight, because Hedorah is just super unique, you
It really
know.
is.
But yeah, like it's gonna be kind of weird ending this era now with this classic Godzilla stuff. I mean, for the longest time, but like
Yeah.
a lot of this funny stuff was like usually what I thought of when I thought of old school Godzilla. It was really cool getting to see it all.
Mhm. Yeah, we only have Terror Mechagodzilla next week, and that concludes this era. And that's going to be Ishiro Honda's final time directing a Godzilla movie.
Wow, he comes back for the end. Does he ever come back again?
No, next time is his final Godzilla film, unfortunately.
Wow, so it really is the end of this era.
Yeah, it really feels like the end of an era, honestly, next time. Especially the ending, you'll see. Okay, so, Crash, do you want to give your closing thoughts on Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla?
Yeah, sure. I thought it was alright, but I loved everything with Mechagodzilla, and I can completely say he lived
hmm
up to my expectations. Probably one of my favorite monsters now from Godzilla. I say he's top three at least.
hmm
I really like him, even if I don't
hmm
know if he's a monster.
I mean, at this point, giant robots, mecha.
Anime.
If they're in this context, they're basically monsters, I
Yeah.
guess. Ton, what would you say? Because you're the mech expert.
Uh, yeah, I think in this context, mech counts as a monster because it's a monstrous machine,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
Capable
I'd
of
agree.
mass destruction and havoc. So like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ton, what are your closing thoughts on Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla?
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla is really just well made, fun, and enjoyable. Like if you're gonna go through your Godzilla marathon, it's definitely one you should skip. Um,
hmm
Mechagodzilla is just an iconic Godzilla enemy, and
hmm
you know what? Let me actually not spoil an upcoming movie. But you know, if you like robots and you like Godzilla, you're gonna like Godzilla, and I hope you like him a lot because he shows up a lot. So yeah,
Ton, I can just sense your exhaustion with Mechagodzilla.
Wow. I can't wait to see him.
For me, I think Mechagodzilla. If you want to get a sense of Fukuda's films, I would actually say that this is the best Fukuda film to watch. If you're new to the franchise and you're not going in order, because I think this really establishes Fukuda's style. It has the aliens, it has the fun human cast, it has the fun, crazy monsters and monster battles. So I'd really say that this is great for beginners. And I would say it's also just a really nice second to last film for the era and really encapsulates what Jun Fukuda brought to the franchise. And I'm glad to see him get a better reception over time. So, yeah, this was episode 14. Next time, we'll be having our final show episode. And then after that, we'll be doing a show roundup. So, I'm very excited for that. Thank you for listening, and have a good night.